G'day, mates. Welcome to MindToon. This is Chloe. We are together, falling in love with our true selves.
Have you ever felt uneasy seeing a robot or virtual character that looks almost human but still a bit off? But you don't feel that way about humans or things that aren't human. This is called the uncanny valley effect, which shows our deep discomfort with things that are almost, but not quite human. Today, we'll explore the psychology and cultural factors behind this feeling and why these almost human figures make us uneasy. So what is the uncanny valley effect? In 1970, Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori introduced the concept of the uncanny valley. The core idea is that humans are highly sensitive to things that are close to human but not quite, which triggers discomfort. This reaction comes from a concept in evolutionary psychology called adaptive fitness. Our ancestors needed to quickly spot potential threats like abnormal-looking or behaving individuals. Psychologists believe this sensitivity to almost human figures developed as a survival mechanism, helping early humans avoid danger by identifying those who were different, sick, or potentially harmful. In the movie The Puppet Billy, Billy's appearance is almost human, but there's a subtle sense of unnaturalness. Its facial expressions and movements look realistic, but they lack some natural details, making us feel uneasy. Psychologists call this the human-am-human ambiguity zone. It's when something looks and behaves almost like a human, but still feels off, causing cognitive dissonance. This close but not quite effect triggers our alertness, making us feel repelled or even fearful. Cognitive dissonance theory can further explain the uncanny valley effect. When we see a virtual character like Billy, our brains automatically compare it to humans, expecting it to show human-like emotions and behavior. However, Billy's actions and emotions, while superficially close to human, have subtle inconsistencies, like a lack of emotional fluctuation in its eyes, robotic movements, or absence of complex emotions. Cognitive dissonance theory suggests that when our expectations don't match reality, it creates emotional conflict. This is why we feel uneasy when Billy tries to show emotion. It creates a gap between our expectations of real emotion and what we see. In The Puppet Billy, Billy shows emotional responses, but they're too mechanical and unnatural, causing our brains to feel discomfort at the difference between human and non-human. This emotional conflict isn't just in movies. In real life, when interacting with humanoid robots or virtual assistants, we often feel the same unease. We expect them to react like humans, but when the responses seem too robotic, it makes us uncomfortable. The uncanny valley effect is influenced by both psychological factors and cultural context. In Western cultures, technological advancements in artificial intelligence are often seen as symbols of progress and a hopeful future, with an overall sense of optimism. People in these cultures tend to view machines as tools that enhance human potential. On the other hand, some Eastern cultures have a deeper sensitivity to the boundary between humans and machines, often viewing the rise of artificial life with skepticism and fear. This cultural contrast is particularly evident in movies like The Matrix, which delves into the complex relationship between humans and machines. The film highlights both the excitement of technological progress and the underlying fear that comes with it. These cultural differences shape our emotional responses to the uncanny valley effect. While some cultures eagerly embrace new technologies, others remain cautious or uneasy, especially when faced with highly realistic AI and humanoid robots that blur the line between the artificial and the human. When we interact with virtual characters that look human, emotional projection becomes more apparent. We tend to project our own emotional needs onto them. When these characters act almost human, we expect them to show rich emotions. However, if their reactions are too simple or mechanical, it creates a sense of emptiness because they don't meet our emotional expectations. For example, humanoid virtual assistants might make us expect complex behaviors, but when they respond in a simplistic way, the mismatch triggers discomfort. This gap between projection and disappointment contributes to the uncanny valley effect.
The uncanny valley effect highlights a fundamental fear that arises from the indistinct boundary between the virtual and the real. It illustrates how our psychological makeup, cultural influences, and emotional needs play a crucial role in shaping our responses to virtual beings that appear human-like. Psychological concepts such as evolutionary psychology, cognitive dissonance, and emotional projection offer valuable insight into why these almost human entities can evoke a sense of unease. As technology advances, especially in the fields of AI and virtual reality, we may grow more accustomed to interacting with these artificial beings. However, the deep-seated discomfort and fear embedded in our psyche may not fully dissipate and could resurface in subtle ways even as we adapt to new technologies. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell for updates on the latest content and psychology insights. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. Say ya!